Let's talk about Syria, a country in Western Asia, nestled between the Mediterranean Sea and the vast deserts of the Middle East. With a history that goes way, way back, Syria is like a living museum, showcasing the remnants of ancient civilizations. For centuries and centuries, Syria has been a super important place for civilization. It has seen the rise and fall of empires, each leaving its mark on the land. It was like the home base for some of the oldest empires ever. From the Akkadians to the Babylonians and later the Greeks and Romans, Syria was at the heart of it all. Think Mesopotamia, one of the first big cities in the world. This region is often called the cradle of civilization because it was here that humans first began to build cities and develop writing. And picture Damascus, a beautiful city that people have lived in for over 4,000 years. It's one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, with a rich tapestry of history woven into its streets. Syria's culture is like a colorful mix of all these different groups, like the Assyrians, Romans, and Ottomans, making it a really special and interesting place. Each culture has added its own unique flavor to the Syrian way of life. Syria shows us how strong and amazing people can be even after all this time. Despite the challenges and conflicts, the spirit of the Syrian people remains unbroken, continuously rebuilding and preserving their rich heritage. But in more recent times, Syria has had some tough times. After it became its own country, free from France in 1946, it had trouble getting started. Then, in the late 1900s, a group called the Ba'ath Party took over and became like the boss. They were very strict and didn't let people have much freedom. Lots of people in Syria wanted to speak up but couldn't. Also, some people were rich, but many were poor and couldn't find jobs. This made a lot of people angry and set the stage for big problems later on. The year 2011 was a really big turning point for Syria and other countries in the area. It was a time of great upheaval and change as people across the Middle East began to demand more freedom and better governance. People in other Arab countries were protesting, and this inspired people in Syria to protest too. The wave of demonstrations, known as the Arab Spring, spread rapidly, igniting a sense of hope and possibility among the Syrian population. They wanted the government to change. They were calling for political reforms, an end to corruption, and greater personal freedoms. The initial protests were marked by a spirit of unity and non-violence. At first the protests were peaceful, but the government didn't like it and started to hurt and arrest people. The regime's harsh response included violent crackdowns, mass arrests, and brutal suppression of dissent. This made some people in Syria start to fight back, and that started a really bad war. As the violence escalated, the situation quickly spiraled into a full-blown civil war, with various factions taking up arms against the government and each other. Lots of other countries got involved too, each with their own reasons for being there. Foreign powers, driven by their own strategic interests, began to support different sides in the conflict, further complicating the situation. This made the war even worse and hurt the people in Syria even more. The ongoing conflict has led to a devastating humanitarian crisis, with millions of Syrians displaced, countless lives lost, and entire cities reduced to rubble. After more than 10 years of fighting, Syria is really messed up. The conflict has left deep scars on the landscape and the people. Entire neighborhoods have been reduced to rubble, and the infrastructure is in shambles. So many people have had to leave their homes and go to other countries. Families have been torn apart, and many have sought refuge in neighboring nations, hoping for safety and a chance to rebuild their lives. Cities have been destroyed and turned into piles of rubble. The once vibrant streets are now silent, and the bustling markets are empty. The destruction is overwhelming, and the task of rebuilding seems monumental. But even with all of this, the people of Syria are still strong. Their resilience is evident in their eyes and their actions. Children still find ways to play amidst the ruins, and adults continue to hope for a better future. People are working hard to rebuild Syria, both inside the country and in other parts of the world. Volunteers and local workers are tirelessly reconstructing buildings and community centers, laying the foundation for a new beginning. Fixing everything will take a long time and be really hard, but there is hope. Community meetings are held to discuss rebuilding plans, and every brick laid is a step towards recovery. The road ahead is long, but the determination is unwavering. The people of Syria are tough and want to make their lives better, and that gives us hope for a better future. Young people are studying and working hard, aiming to contribute to the rebuilding efforts and create a brighter tomorrow. It shows how strong people can be, even when things are really bad. The spirit of the Syrian people is unbreakable, and their perseverance is a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome even the greatest of challenges.